How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? Chime on in. Chime on in. Give y'all a minute to come on in, and thank you for coming in tonight at the Ham Show on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Appreciate y'all coming on in. We're going to give you a second to come on in and do what you do. Tonight we got an interesting show. We're going to be talking about ding dong ditch catastrophes and Donald Trump and the what was his name, Tyree Nichols case. It just got finished up, and some of the cops got acquitted. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a couple other things that we have in store. Let me see if the thing is on. If you're just now chiming in, go ahead and let us know you're there. That way we can get the party started. Yeah, we good. Excuse me. Pardon me. Thank y'all for chiming on in. Joel, what up, bro? Today we're talking about some interesting things, man. I'm glad you're here today. And we'll see what's popping. See what everybody's got to say about this stuff. You heard about this ding dong ditch challenge they doing?
I don't even know if it's a challenge, more or less, of people just being stupid.
Yeah, well, you know, the kids out there just can't figure out what to do. That's, you know, but I'm gonna go ahead and play the video on the what happened, and you guys can, you know, chime on in and tell us what's going on with that. Give me a second to get it queued up, and we'll go ahead and hit it up. So a man was charged for shooting a couple kids, and for doing the ding dong ditch prank, but they were doing it in a peculiar way. They didn't do it like we used to do it back in the day, where you just knock or ring the doorbell. But hey, we'll show you the footage. Y'all be the judge of what's going on.
Also developing now in Virginia, a Spotsylvania County man is charged with the murder of a high school student. Police say initially a teen was trying to break into the man's home, but now court documents raise questions about what really happened. DC News Now's Max Marcilla shares the latest.
It was right here on Mackenzie Lane in Spotsylvania County this past Saturday about 3 in the morning when sheriff's deputies got a call for an attempted home burglary. They responded, and when they got here, they found 3 people, 2 minors, one of whom was shot, and 18-year-old Michael Bosworth Jr., who was shot and died at the hospital. Now, 3 days after the incident, the homeowner, 27-year-old Tyler Butler, arrested and charged with second-degree murder. According to reporting from the Fredericksburg Freelance Star, the 2 surviving minors told cops they were doing ding-dong ditch pranks supposed to be posted on TikTok and were running away looking for a place to hide when the shooting happened. Bosworth Jr. was just days away from graduating from Massaponax High School, the shooting coming on the same day as the school's prom. The homeowner, Butler, is being held without bond. Online court records don't yet show who his attorney is and when his next day in court is. Reporting in Spotsylvania County, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
Hey, it's
Where is Spotsylvania at?
Virginia.
That's a real place.
I guess so. Yeah, that's in Virginia. So apparently the kids pulled a prank at 3 a.m. on the man's house. The man said that he thought they were breaking in the house or trying to break in the house, and then he shot. They don't know if they said if he shot through the door or what's going to happen. But let me play you this other video so you guys can get some type of context of what's actually happening or what's going on. That way you can understand, you know, clearly of what's really happened. This is from TikTok. Let me play the footage for that.
Poor child, poor kid that got killed, and of course what happened to him. I mean, such a stupid prank, and look at the results. families ruined. So very sad. Hope this does not happen, and I hope that kids learn a lesson.
Tyler Butler is 27 years old. He is charged with second-degree murder, malicious wounding, and using a firearm in the commission of a felony. He's accused of shooting at 3 teenagers behind the home he grew up in and shares with his parents and brother here on Mackenzie Lane in Fredericksburg. The shooting happened around 3 a.m. Saturday. The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office says the teens were attempting to burglarize the Butler's house. 18-year-old Massaponax High School senior Michael Bosworth was shot and killed. One of the 2 juveniles with him was shot and wounded. They tell investigators they were videotaping themselves doing a ding-dong ditch as part of a TikTok challenge. Now, in court documents, Tyler Butler reports being single, having gone to college to study computer science, and now making his living through sports betting. I met with a neighbor here who showed me video from in front of his home not long before the shooting down the street. And the video, he wouldn't share it with us yet, but it shows 3 teenagers approaching his house and not ringing the doorbell and running, but banging and kicking his garage door. He says they weren't trying to break into his house, but this was not just simply ringing and running.
So now that we have a little bit more context of what the same boys were doing, what do you guys think about that? I think, peace, Sincere. How you doing, brother? And Chris, what's up, brother? Hopefully y'all can hear us and we sound good out there, Chris. Everything's good on that end?
Need Chris to do his sound check.
So what y'all think about that? We had a couple teens or 3 teens show up to a man's house 3 a.m. They're kicking and knocking and beating on the door at 3 a.m. The man shot him. They don't say if the man shot him through the door. The last video kind of alleged like they were in his backyard when he shot him.
It's so much. It's so much weird shit because they're saying that they were in the backyard. Then they saying they was busting through the door. Like we don't really know what's going on. But
yeah, but the thing is that they're holding the dude without bail.
What's up, Alan?
The dude is in jail right now being held without bail. So I don't know if they caught something on a videotape where they thought that he needed to be held without bail, or honestly, I don't know. But I just saw it and I was like, bro, oh, Chris can't type, I guess. He's, oh yeah, his arm.
Yeah, surgery.
I forgot about your arm. I'm glad you're doing better, man. Hopefully your recovery is quick.
Here's my thing. Here's my take on it. You heard what they said. The man is there with his parents, his brother. So you're thinking about your parents, first of all. It's 3 a.m. And yes, it's tragic. The event is tragic. You know, no one wants to see anybody murdered, especially an 18-year-old kid the same day that they going to prom. But my question is, how is it that at 18 years old, at 3 a.m, you're somewhere playing ding dong ditch instead of, getting a good night's rest so that you can go to school or go to prom the next day and enjoy yourself? How is it that we're talking about a few things, Chris? How is it that we're this shit's getting out of control? It's getting out of hand. And I'm gonna keep it 1,000. If you banging on my door at 3 a.m. in the morning and I got my family in the house, I'm not thinking, oh, it's some kids playing. It's a stupid prank. Nobody's thinking that. They're thinking, yo, somebody's trying to get in my house and I'm gonna protect myself at all costs. Now, I don't know how this man did it because again, they still haven't said whether or not he shot through a door or anything like that.
No, they haven't released any information on how the kids actually died other than being shot. And like, did he shoot through the door or did he chase them around back? Or I don't know. They did. I'm trying not to speculate, but they basically kicked the boy's door or did something to the door because they got video of the guy, another place, someone down the street has a video of them doing the same thing about beating on their garage. And then when he looked on the camera, he knew they weren't really trying to break in. They was just kicking his garage and beating on the, so he really didn't do nothing about it. And that was just a little while before, I guess, this particular place. But I've watched some videos on TikTok that like they're doing jump kicks and like WWF in the
I mean, it's fucking stupid. Like, seriously, you beating on somebody's door at 3 a.m. and you, like you say, you doing drop kicks on the door. You're just doing way too much. Like, it's not even ding dong ditch anymore. You
Right.
know, ding dong ditch, you ring the doorbell, you giggle, you run off.
Right. That's
You know what I
it's
mean?
just stupid.
Like, in other places we called it nigga knocking. You knock on the door and you run away. So I mean, at 3 in the morning, like, what do you expect? And this is not the world or society that we live in today for those type of antics to happen. People are nervous, they're scared. There's all kind of crazy things happening. There's deranged people running around this world. So it's like, teach your kids better. And if you did, and they just went off on their own and decided to just be foolish, then at the end of the day, it cost him his life.
Yeah, it cost one of them their life, and
another
the
one
other
injured.
one got shot, and
Yeah.
I think one of them ran down the street. But yeah, it's crazy. Man.
Exactly, Sincere. He says, I feel like my family lives are in danger. I'm letting off. That's what a normal person would do.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that, and I'm gonna just say it, I don't like the fact that well, I can't say it without having this information because we don't know if this dude shot through the door, if he chased him down. We don't know.
Right.
Because I think like on one video, didn't it show like a kid in the street or something like that? Like he had ran and
honestly,
like,
man,
I don't know if it was even a real video.
I've seen so much footage on some of this stuff, and some of it is kind of like prankish,
convoluted.
and then some of it is like these dudes are really kicking. It's weird. Like, I'm gonna show you this next video where the kids. This is a different video. This has nothing to do with that particular case, but
this is the type of stuff.
This is the type of stuff that they're doing, and if they're doing this at 3 a.m., I would probably come down ready to to handle whatever was happening.
That might hurt.
So though it's looks like they over there trying to have fun and stuff, but that doesn't seem like that looked like a dorm, maybe like a college or a high school or something like that. But if you're doing that to people's house in a residential area, they're obviously gonna come ready to do something about it.
At 3 a.m. Yeah,
at 3 a.m.
And Alan says, I think the kids and the parents both should be held accountable for their actions. No, because these are not kids. This kid was 18 years old.
The particular kids that got shot, they were both 18.
They were of age.
They were seniors in high school.
So they know better. You know what I'm saying? So no, the parents shouldn't be. And 9 times out of 10, the parents didn't raise them that way. A lot of times you raise your kids to be the best version of themselves they can be, and they still go off and do weird shit. So I wouldn't say the parents necessarily in this situation. Wendell kind of answering yours too. He says, where were the parents? Why are kids out at 3 a.m.? I mean, they're 18 years old. They're seniors in high school. They're of age. At 3 a.m., their parents is probably asleep because they got to go to work in the morning. They don't even know that these knuckleheads is probably out.
Right. But yeah, somebody died. Somebody's son died, and it's not going to be able to continue to go to college or do whatever he was supposed to do after high school, and he didn't even make it to prom. Yeah. So my condolences go out to the parents and their families, but we got to teach our kids, hey, stop doing stupid stuff. Yeah, it sounds like it's fun, but it's not fun when you're not here,
Ain't nothing fun about banging on somebody's door at 3 a.m. aggressively.
Right.
Like, I don't even understand how.
Just ringing the doorbell and leaving is different. But,
yeah, that's like.
But if you're kicking and banging on the door, like, especially like if it was in the manner of, that's just speculation, that video I showed you. Like, if it was in that manner of what they were doing, then yeah, I would be ready to shoot something.
We had a situation one night where 2 girls rung our doorbell and was beating on our door real aggressively. And what time of the morning was that? It was like 2 in the morning.
It was around the same time as that dude, 2, 3 in the morning.
About 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so, my household is trained to respond a certain type of way, and everybody did what they were supposed to do accordingly. So my husband and I went to go investigate, and these two girls, their story was they were coming from a party near the skating rink. Now, the problem that I had with their story is that our neighborhood was nowhere near where they said they were coming from. So if you were coming from a party that you claim got shot up, first of all, we didn't hear any gunshots, and the location wasn't too far away, but it was far enough away where our community wasn't the first community that you came to. You came to a host of gas stations and safe havens and places that you could have went to call somebody if you needed to. And their excuse was, we're trying to call for our ride. So because Sean and I are not stupid and foolish, we said, oh, okay, well, hold on, we'll give you some change so you can go to the payphone, but I'm not letting you in my house to make no type of phone call, especially considering how you was just banging on my door and ringing my doorbell. So when we showed up ready, which in turn made them extremely nervous and scared. So when we came back in the house to go get them some change to go make the calls that they needed to make, we went back outside, they were gone, which later let us know that I don't think you were knocking on my door to get some change. I think you were trying to see what I had in my house, to see how we were going to respond, how we were going to do whatever we were going to do, so that you can do some recon to see what I got, so you and your little friends could come back and try to rob us.
Yeah, not necessarily a payphone, but to get to a 7-Eleven. 7-Elevens all have landlines inside the store. So if you in disarray, they're supposed to let you use the phone if you ask nicely.
Well, yeah, because I want to say, I know Chevrons are, but I believe the Arco that they pass, they have a sign, an insignia that says Safe Haven. And it's a little yellow triangle, and it says Safe Haven for children or whatever, but it's a place basically where kids can go if they need help of any type of sort, right? Exactly, Sincere. It sounds like a setup.
Yeah, I think they was trying to get in the house and then make a phone call to have somebody come over and do something crazy.
Yeah.
And
because where did they go? When we went back outside,
yeah, somebody was already ready to pick them up.
Somebody was ready for them.
Yeah.
So needless to say, prior to that, my car alarm at the time was going off, and the alarm that I had at the time, my car will never go off unless you actually penetrated it, like you got inside of it. You were able to either open a door, lift it up. That was the only way my car would go off, or if you just kept messing with it. So this particular time frame, my alarm had went off like a couple nights prior to that. So all of this stuff we were thinking about, like, you know what, this sounds like this is something different. Yeah, they got this called Safe Haven, Chris. A lot of this stuff I know about because of my background in security. There's things that we always knew that the public didn't know for certain reasons or whatever. But yes, it's called Safe Haven or Safe Zone or something like that. But it's a yellow triangle, and you will see it in front of businesses, and that gives people the information to know you can come in here and ask for any type of help, whether it be medical, police, somebody's trying to kill you, hurt you, harm you, whatever the deal is. A kid can go and they will be protected from that point moving forward. Like, they're trained to deal with them accordingly. But yeah, we're living in a world today where some of these pranks and jokes and games that we played as children, they are now taking them and they're 10 timesing them. They're putting on 100 on one and making it something that it shouldn't be. And now these games are turning deadly. But at the end of the day, we got to do better as a society too. Like, when you see kids doing dumb shit like that, then again, who's gonna be up at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, don't do that?
Nobody's gonna be up unless
Exactly.
you're waking them up.
Yeah. And they're waking neighborhoods up, I'm sure, if they're just beating on doors like that.
Right.
Especially, in a neighborhood and running around. Like, next thing you know, you're gonna get the police called on you, and then that's a whole nother fiasco.
Yeah, talk to your kids, guys. The next video is about Times Square. I guess they put up a new statue in Times Square. It's causing a lot of controversy with
I heard about that.
a whole bunch of people. I'm gonna let you guys be the judge of that, but before I do that, I want to take some time and say thank you to the people who hit us with a like. Philip Azuna, thank you for the like. Tony Peavy, thank you for the like. Alan Smith, thank you for the like. And Joel Morris, thank you for the like. I appreciate y'all. Here's that video, guys. This video is in New York Times Square, and I guess they put up a brand new statue out there, and it's causing a whole heap of controversy, I guess, on what the statue represents and the persona of the statue.
A new statue in Times Square we're told, turning heads. It's making people not only stop and stare, but also reflect. A rare feat in the middle of one of the busiest places in the world. Zinnia Maldonado shows us why.
At 12 feet tall, in the middle of Times Square, stands a bronze sculpture of a young woman.
It's instantly stood out. It's powerful.
It's so tall and big.
The sculpture, created by artist Thomas Price, was unveiled at Duffy Square last week, and in just a matter of days, it has stopped hundreds in their tracks. Who is she? Well, technically, she's whoever you want her to be.
Me being a plus-size Black woman, I kind of looking at it was like, oh, I wonder what me as a small child would have thought looking at something like that. Representation.
The piece is part of a series called Grounded in the Stars, which Gene Cooney, director of Times Square Art, says confronts preconceived notions of identity and representation.
To have this work here is making a statement, potentially asking questions about what we value as a city, as a society, and hopefully it's a tribute to our shared humanity.
Tourists and New Yorkers we spoke with expressed different interpretations of what she represents to them.
It's a plus-size woman. I'm a plus-size man. I'm African-American. It's an African-American woman statue. So just seeing another piece for me to stop and just have a moment with was very powerful.
If you look at the eyes, it's looking straight at something. It's focused. It's purposeful.
The sculpture proves to be a well-liked juxtaposition placed among the more traditional statues in Times Square, which is the goal, according to officials, of placing said artwork in such a significant area.
Coming from a person of color background as well, it's really nice to see something come across as like this everyday person that looks a little bit out of place. But I also think that's because of where we are standing. It might not look out of place if everything in our surrounding reflected everyday life more to us.
From Times Square, Zinnia Maldonado, CBS News, New York.
So their purpose is for them. Chris says he loved big thighs. He's like, thighs. So the purpose of them creating it was for what? To hope to get it placed amongst the other statues?
I guess I'm looking for, I had a dissertation on who the sculpture guy was and what was his intentions, and that's where the biggest issue is. But let me find it real quick. Where is it at?
Yeah, that's the part that I kind of want to know and hear. What was the whole meaning behind it?
Where is it?
Chris says statues. Who gives a shit?
First of all, the guy who made the statue is not from the United States. He's from Europe. I had a video where I had it set up, but now I can't find it. Let me see if I can just find it real quick. Give me a second, guys. He made it, and he said that was his thought process on what an American Black woman looks like.
Oh, that was his ideology.
Right.
Oh.
So,
okay. That's interesting. So he sculpted this sculpture based on his ideology of what a Black woman looks like. All right, well. Big thighs save lives, Chris.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see if I can.
This is whatever the intent. It went over my head. We're not sure what the intent is. We're trying to figure it out.
So let me play this video. So this is kind of like what the issue is. Stop playing. Stop. There we go. I'll play you guys this video so you can kind of see where the issue lies or where the complaints are coming from.
What are the complaints?
They're saying that the woman is a big woman, so they're saying if that was a general concession of Black women all over of the United States, why is she so big? Basically, they think that they're saying that they think that Black women over here are just a bunch of big folks. So that's one of the things, but there's others. Let me play it real quick.
Okay.
Oh, who asked for this? Who asked for this right here?
And then look at her face.
Who
They were
asked for
talking about her face too.
I didn't. I did not. Y'all could have just put some money in my bank account. Y'all could have paid a bill. So who asked for this?
The Statue of Liberty stands tall, holding a torch of hope. But look closer, down by her feet.
Yeah, I had the video where it had all the controversy on it, but I can't seem to find it in my emails for some reason.
Chris said, "White man ideology, not even from here. Get the fuck out of here."
Well,
is he a white dude?
No, the dude's a light-skinned black dude from Europe. That his thought process was that that's what he thinks American black women look like, or whatever. I'm trying to find. I had.
So in other words, he's saying that American women be eating.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
and they all look like that, and that's what it is. I mean, and you know, here's the thing: his reality is his reality. I ain't mad at the dude about it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Sincere says maybe it's just to start dialogue, regardless of what's being said. Something is being said.
Could be. I don't know. To me, it don't bother me, but I only brought it to the shows because it was causing a lot of controversy between what American black women think should be up there and what the guy actually made to be up there. It was most of the women's complaints was why is she so big? Why she look like she angry?
Did she look angry?
Yeah, that's why I said look at her face.
So it's like the angry big black woman.
Right. So that's what they were saying. Like, oh, so we just angry, we fat and we angry. Look at how she was standing.
With her hand on her
like
head.
She had an attitude.
She looked like somebody auntie that came outside and was yelling at the kids to
get
come
off
home.
my lawn. She looked like get off my lawn. That's what she looked like to me. But that was the hoopla about it. It wasn't like they didn't see it as a statue of power. They saw it as a diss to what the world thinks that black women are here in the United States, basically. So that I don't know what happened to that video. I had it in my queue, but I don't know what the hell happened. I can't seem to find it.
So Chris goes, black dude from Europe, get the fuck out of here. He not from here either.
Right. That's what I was saying. First of all, I don't know why they're allowing people outside of the country to make statues like that for here.
Make it in your own country.
There's plenty of good artists here in the inside the states that can handle that type of.
And I mean, I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of straddling the fence here because, like old girl says, who asked for this? That's great. That's your art and that's what you think and that's your idea of what a black woman looks like or whatever. That's cool. That's your thing. But
someone in the United States gave him money and permission to build this thing.
So they gave him money to build it, not knowing what it was going to look like.
I don't know, the hoopla is that this is a part of their plan to diss people. They gave this man money to diss us, and because he's black, we just supposed to say okay.
We're supposed to be okay with it,
right? Yeah.
Chris says honestly, it looks ghetto as fuck. Why not a black American princess?
Right. That's what they're saying.
That's what a lot of people are saying.
That's what and I had the video to back up that video. I can't fucking find it now. I don't know what the fuck.
This Sincere says, I think it's doing exactly what he wanted, having people talk, but he didn't think it through. I don't know. I think he thought it through because to sculpt something, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of thought process behind that. And you had to actually create a hard, rough draft somewhere to even know where you were going to go with it, especially since it was funded by somebody. I'm quite sure someone was
funded by someone in New York. And hey.
And I mean, and listen, like I say, if that's what your creation is, art is art. And I am not here to shit on nobody's art or say that their art is or be indifferent about it. Art is art. So if this is what the artist felt like was artistic for him, then more power to you, bro. I just don't think that it's a representation of Black women.
No, I mean, like, why you ain't put Maya Angelou up there, or like somebody who's credible,
Right?
Somebody who did something dope. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, going back and looking at
And
it,
it was supposed to be, that particular statue was supposed to be just a depiction of a Black woman, not where she did something remarkable. It's supposed to represent everyone,
right?
And it didn't do a good job.
So why wasn't she in like some sort of royal garb
Or something?
Like if you want to depict a Black woman for real, standing there with your hand on your hip, overweight, with an angry
Or
mean
why
mug
wasn't
on
it
your
three
face is
different
not
women?
it.
Why wouldn't it, it could be the big
Exactly.
woman, a skinny woman, a tall woman.
It could have been like a Mount Rushmore. It could have just been heads.
Right.
Like the different variations of Black women.
Yeah, but they just, I think they kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Chris says, exactly. Who asked for this? Are we going to see this on the strip?
I hope not.
Says, how about a Black American hero of some kind? Something great. That's what we were saying. And Sincere says, I get it. Somebody commissioned that. The real question is who and why.
Right. So
yeah, that is the real question. Like, what was it? What's it all about? Like, what's the purpose of it? You know what I mean? Like, what's the true purpose? Because there's always some sort
what
of,
they really trying to say.
Right.
That's what they're basically trying to figure out. And that's what with all the arguments is about this. This next particular video is about Newark, New Jersey Mayor Ras Baraka. He was arrested at the ICE detention center. And you guys go ahead and check this out.
Before you play it,
hold on.
before you play it, I just got a quick joke. Since you mentioned ICE, I got a quick joke. It's a controversial joke, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Why do Mexicans drink their why do Mexicans drink their juices or whatever warm or hot?
I don't know.
Because they don't fuck with ice.
Oh, hell no. That was a dad joke, straight up.
It was.
That was a straight dad joke. So basically, here's the video, y'all. Let me play it for you. And
what did he get? He got arrested for protesting, right?
Well, he did a little bit more. You'll see it in the video. So this lady here in the red and the lady in the brown coat, these people on the right is protesting against ICE at the ICE facility.
He's the mayor, let him in.
So basically, they tried to rush in the ICE facility.
Everybody, you're on camera, you're on live TV.
Get out, real quick! You don't respect the laws, we don't respect you!
Let her go! Let her go! Let her go!
Están interviniendo al mismo alcalde de Newark.
I got you.
Don't make no sense.
They're talking about coming back to arrest you.
Well, I'm not on their property. They can't come out in the street and arrest me.
I agree with
If you come out, we're all getting arrested.
Let them try. No, I'm not going nowhere.
What are you? Stay back! Stay back! Stay back! Everyone stay back! You are out of control! Shame on you!
So basically, what he got arrested for was he got arrested for because he pushed some of the ICE agents and tried to rush in through the gate of the ICE building. So him and two other people got arrested and they went to jail that particular night. And then the United States government, the DOJ, said that they want to charge them for assaulting an ICE agent. So there'll probably be later charges. We'll be covering that if it is. Basically, Democratic mayor trying to go in and rush the ICE building, I guess.
What was his purpose?
I don't know quite what his purpose was, but they're protesting the ICE building. He wanted to go in and see what was happening on the inside, I guess.
But that's not how you do it.
No, that's not
You don't just
yeah.
you don't. That's like
It's
trying to.
it's federal land. It's not the
That's
land.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like even if it wasn't, you don't just walk up to a building that doesn't belong to you and try to push your way through people to get into it and then wonder why you're being arrested. That was fucking dumb.
Yeah, he found out the feds wasn't playing, and then now that the DOJ is asking for the Supreme Court to do a indictment on the people who struck the.
And I mean, we know why they're taking it above and beyond because of the skin color. Because if it, they still, the people who stormed the Capitol and shit, they still ain't been arrested. But that's neither here nor there.
Most of those guys went to jail.
But
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like, make it make sense, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? Like, why would you even do that?
I think the whole thing is this: is that like if those people that are inside this building are illegal, what are we protesting about?
I don't understand what the protest was either. Like, did they mention what it was about?
They're basically protesting because they don't think they should be locked up. Basically,
if your ass is an immigrant and you doing something you ain't supposed to do and you're not here, like you said, listen, I know we've been on this whole because again, I'm straddling the fence here because I'm the first person to say when people go, they need to go back to where they come from. I'm only talking about Hispanics right now. They need to go back where they come from, blah, 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 right? And I'm like, have you listened to the names of the places that you live in? Texas, Utah, Nevada, California. I can keep going, right? Ain't no going back to where you came from. They're here because this is where they're supposed to be. Now, however, for the people who are or were born elsewhere and try to come here illegally and don't do it the right way, you're going to get your ass locked up, man. It's just what it is. Like, I'm not going to try to go move to another country and not do it the right way. I wouldn't even want to.
right?
That don't even sound comfortable to me. That sounds.
Yeah, you just a fugitive for the whole time that you're there.
Every step you take,
Every time you looking around,
every time
and
you take a
scared
breath, right? You're just like, oh,
yeah,
who
that's
knows?
crazy.
Somebody's gonna get me. Like, I couldn't even. That's not even comfortable for me.
Yeah, it's too much.
So I don't even get that part. And I don't understand why people get so upset when people go, or when officials say we're gonna deport people, or we're gonna make sure that people have their paperwork, or we're just trying to do it the right way. Like, I don't even get why people get upset with that.
Right.
A protesting policy or a political stunt, however you see it. Newark's mayor, Ras Baraka, says he doesn't trust Trump and doesn't approve of how he's handling illegal immigration. So after he showed up at a detention center unannounced with members of Congress by his side, he was arrested and charged with trespassing. Today, 4 days later, Mayor Baraka tried to return to tour the facility he says is breaking city and state law. He was denied entry again. In body cam footage obtained by ABC News, you can actually see the moment that Baraka was seized by ICE officers, and it was a bit chaotic. But U.S. Attorney Alina Habba wrote on X, that's the mayor ignoring multiple warnings from Homeland Security and willingly choosing to disregard the law. Baraka, who is also a Democratic candidate for governor, has pled not guilty to all the charges. Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, joins me now. Mayor, glad you could be with me. First, I want you to, of course, address the critics that say this was just a publicity stunt to help boost your run for governor. Your response?
Why don't you?
That's the response?
I'm serious right now. Let me show you a path that can change your.
I went there for a press conference. Unless Alina Habba and Donald Trump is on my campaign committee, then I don't understand how it was a political stunt. I went down there for a campaign, a press conference with the congressional delegation. They allowed me entry into the property, and then Homeland Security, after an hour and a half of me standing there, said that they wanted me to leave the property. I, in fact, left the property. If you watch a video, you can see I left the property. Then they came outside of the property and arrested me outside the property on the public side. On property, in fact, that's private property and not federal property at all. So being arrested for federal trespass is just incorrect on its face.
So it is clearly it's run by a private operator, Geo Group.
It's owned by Geo Group.
It is owned by them. So where did federal funds come from? Just kind of set the record straight. Who paid for this? Okay.
Well, they have a contract. GEO paid for the entire thing. They have a contract to house detainees, just like the El Salvadorian prison camp has a contract with the government to house detainees. They have a contract here domestically to house detainees, but they don't own the property or the building. There are no federal employees that work in there at all. They have detainees there. Our contention is with GEO, not with ICE, with following local laws and local rules and procedures that they refuse to follow. ICE got themselves engaged and involved in that politically. When the Congress people went to tour the place, instead of giving them a tour, they targeted and attacked me. I was the only one arrested. You can see there are multiple people that were on the property. I was the only one arrested because they targeted me.
So you feel you were targeted. So you're saying you went on to private property and there wasn't a problem, that the GEO group was okay with you coming onto grounds, but that ICE decided to step in and arrest you and take you off the premises. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what happened. I mean, they allowed me on the property. Yeah.
Okay. So you say the detention facility is not following city and state laws. Tell me what laws you believe they're breaking.
They don't have a proper certificate of occupancy in our mind. They haven't had one for almost 20 years. City law says they have to have it every year updated. And it's a point of contention. Our inspectors are not allowed in a property, fire inspectors, health inspectors, and they have a right to go in there. And that's a point of contention. They have the right to say they disagree with us. But guess who settles that? A court. A court determines who's right and who's wrong. And we're in the process of we're in court now. Like ICE doesn't decide this. The Homeland Security doesn't decide this. A judge does in court. That's how democracy works. That's how it's set up in the United States purposefully. And that's why people come from around the world to be a part of this democracy, the greatest idea in the world, because we have courts and due process.
So, Mayor, let me ask you, because DHS does say it has all proper permits and has completed all proper inspections.
Well, the DHS are not responsible for inspections or permits anyway. GEO is responsible for permits and inspections. And I don't know how DHS would know any of these things. When what they don't know is we went and did a preliminary inspection because the court told us to, and found a few violations that we have the right to go in and check to see if they, in fact, mitigated those violations or corrected them. They still don't have a certificate of occupancy. We're in a contention about a certificate of occupancy. We're going to continue to engage with them because to me, we can't allow one group to say they don't need to follow the city's rules and everybody else. It sets this kind of negative precedent. And we have a right, our inspectors have a right to go into that property, and they should be allowed to.
So we were told that if you asked for a tour, that they would grant you a tour, but that you showed up unannounced. Are you going to ask officially for a tour?
We've been there every day. They've given us emails. We've emailed the people that they told us to, and we haven't been getting anything. And we don't want a tour. I don't want a tour. I didn't come there to get a tour. This is not Disneyland. It is for the inspectors to come there and make sure they have the violations corrected, that the health and safety conditions are okay, that the number of beds that they say are there are actually there, and that they apply for a certificate of occupancy. Like any business, you can't even go in your home without a certificate of occupancy. I don't understand why this is rocket science to people when they understand that in a building, you need a certificate of occupancy. That's just clear. And if you change the use, you have to get permission from the city to change the use of the building. I mean, what we're saying is not like bizarre or strange. This is what has to happen normally, but these people don't follow normal procedures.
So you guys understand what's going on. He I guess was trying to figure something out, and it didn't work out the way that he thought it was going to work out.
It sounds like he was trying to bogart his way in there and stir some shit up, and they knew it, and they was like, no.
Right. That's what it looks like.
That's what it sounds like. And it's like, I mean, from his perspective, if he's trying to legitimately find that there is something going on that shouldn't be going on, that there's some sort of whatever, I get it. Do it the right way, though. You know what I mean? On their side, they're like, bro, you're trying to come in here and stir up some shit, and we're not having it.
Right.
And yeah, no, we don't. Whether you come here every day or not, we have the right to refuse service. We have the right to do X, Y, and Z. And so if it's federally owned, privately owned, it doesn't matter. It ain't owned by him. And rules is rules, dude.
Yeah, things can get a little hectic and crazy when people, don't quite. Even though he's a mayor, he probably don't quite know all the laws that are entail with what's actually happening there. Maybe he thought he had a little bit extra clout, or he overstepped his bounds, and then they decided that it was time for him to go. I guess and it also depends on the email.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Basically, I think that's what happened. The next video is about Tyree Nichols. If you don't know anything about Tyree Nichols, there's a guy, black guy driving a car late at night. Police pull him over and promptly beat his ass. They all black police officers. This is in the city of what city is this? Oh man, I can't remember the city. Oh, it's in Memphis. Okay. So it's the city of Memphis.
They rough out there.
Yeah, and it's rough. The city of Memphis is kind of rough. It's really bad down there. So it's pretty close to Chicago. How things go on out there, and the cops promptly beat him up. I'm gonna play a video of the cops. Let me pull it up real quick. But Tyree died from the wounds of the cops. They WWF this dude.
Why?
Hold on.
I'm sure when you pull the video up,
trying to pull up the right one, because one of them is just way too graphic to actually play it. Let me play it 15 minutes in. Hold on.
So it was an actual traffic stop?
It was a traffic stop that turned.
What did they stop him for? Did they say?
No one. The police. From what I've read, they didn't say, but the state said that the car cam and the cams on their chest didn't conclude them to stop him at all. The conclusion of looking at those videos
was like, why did you even stop him in the first place?
They say, the cops say, that he was driving through traffic and sporadic, but when they was properly whooping his ass, I ain't see no cars go by. It was late at night. It was like, 3, 4 in the morning. So here, let me
that's a touchy situation there.
Yeah, let me find this video real quick so I can show you guys what the hell happened. Okay, while this video, this is his family, and this is what they've reacted to. Let me get this pulled up, and then I'll find the video of the cops actually doing their thug thizzle, because they was not messing around, man.
Did they say anything during the video, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you the video. I'm gonna let you guys watch it. The cops they was just some bad cops to me. All of them need to go to jail. Some of them got acquitted. 3 of them got acquitted. 2 of them went to jail. 15 total cops got fired.
It was 15.
All right, right now, let's kind of shift gears back to the National Civil Rights Museum.
And we understand that Tyree Nichols' family has arrived there. Let's take a look.
Let me find this
other. Gave the 6th haymaker to Tyree Nichols. Yesterday, to Darius Bean.
This is their family.
Justin Smith and Demetrius Haley gave another kick, a deadly kick, to Tyree Nichols and his family. But we stand with this family to lift this family up in prayer. And to call on the God of justice to deliver real justice for Tyree Nichols. But we were not under any illusion yesterday or last week in trial with an all-white jury from Hamilton County in Chattanooga. We were not under any illusion.
Yes.
But it just wasn't any white jury from Hamilton County. It was the most racist and the most redneck jury that they could have ever found to preside over this case in the matter of justice for Tyre Nichols. It is what it is.
So the family's suing the state for what happened to their family member. I think they should pay up. I'm not going to show the whole video. The video is really graphic. It might get our YouTube situation flagged, but I'm gonna play for where I think it's safe. And man, the way these guys talked about how they promptly whooped this boy's ass in front of the boy. Not even them. They got fired, but the ambulance people, how they dealt with the kid, they got fired too. So it's like that whole state is just toe up. You know what I'm saying?
So everybody that showed up on the scene was on some
pretty
bullshit?
much got fired. Yeah. So here's the video of them after they've subdued him and locked him up.
I see him. He turned around. He hit him with a taser. He snatched the motherfuckers out to the run. Hell yeah.
That's him up against the car.
That's him on the ground.
Was he already dead?
No, he died in the hospital 2 days later, 2 or 3 days later. But they promptly whooped this boy like for 20 minutes.
Come on, so y'all want me to bring him down there? No, I'm not bringing dude. Man, hell. Bring him down there. My mama.
This is really late at night.
Yeah.
I just bro. My leg, bro. My knee. Oh. See, open the door. I see wiping his face. Hey, he took our running as soon as I seen him wiping his face, bro. Hold on, where y'all see him? Right here. He was running through the yard, bro. This is why I got him. I said I couldn't see no more. Well, you said that. We went through there. Yeah. Y'all said ball head, though. I was like, but then he started running, bro. He was wiping his face. He wiped his face.
He is lifeless up against the car.
Okay, right on time.
I know. I see y'all seeing his ass run.
Right on time. As soon as I took his ass to the
So
ground.
I like my leg, bro. I know for the finish.
Bro, my shit been hurting all day, but when I seen that boy running, bro, it's already no more, bro.
In what state do they do this? Where they just continue talking about what happened?
He done fell over.
Go ahead.
He hot. He hot as mud. Hey, sit up, bro. Sit up, man.
He told him to sit up. Look at his face.
Hey, radio, bro. Off the channel like a motherfucker.
Plus, they're going to talk about hitting him in a couple minutes. Oh, I was giving him the best I had and all this
I
stuff.
see bean tractor right here. I ain't know my light is.
Damn, where my light go, bro?
He got one.
He high as a kite.
Sit up for us. Bro, I hit that man with so many pieces in his skull.
I hit it, bro.
The fact that none of them is even concerned that he's lifeless. You're supposed to render aid.
Right.
Man, I was hitting him with spray haymakers, dog. Man, come on, man. I'm watching him, though. He was rocking, but
That's cold, man. Man, I was hitting him with straight haymakers, y'all.
I jump in and start rocking.
Man, I'm telling you, bro.
They laughing and giggling.
And this man is literally sitting there dying.
He died from internal bleeding.
Man, they need to give me some saline, man. We got spray. Everybody got spray. I spray, he spray, hip heel tase. He jump up, just tase.
Yeah, sprayed him, tased him.
Yeah, I'm going to show a little bit of it, but not the whole thing.
No, not dope. He full of dog. Then he was going for a gun, too. So I'm like, he grabbed Mark gun and everything. That's long as I'd have been in a minute.
I would have tried to grab a gun too to save my fucking life.
I think that's crap because the boy was getting beat on. And there's 3-4 cops on him at every time. Like they could have easily just grabbed the arm, leg, cuffed him up, and been out of there. I think they wanted to do this boy in.
I think they were searching for him. Something has happened. There's a backstory to this. I guarantee you.
So this is the initial stop.
There's definitely a backstory.
Hey, I didn't hurt you. That's brown. All right. On the ground. You don't do that, okay? Get on the ground. Raise your ass. I'm on the ground.
See, there's 3 cops on him now. How many cops it take to lock somebody up?
Tase you. Get on the ground. One. Now. All right.
There's 4 cops there now.
Okay, dude. Damn. Bitch, put your hands behind your back. Quick. Okay, stop. I'm gonna knock your ass. Hey, you guys are really doing a lot right now. Bro, lay down. I'm just trying to go home. Lay down. Man, if you don't lay down. I am on the ground. Put your hands behind your stomach. I got you.
So now they spraying him. Tased him.
So this dude legitimately was trying to get away because he already knew. He smelt it. He knew it was going to be some bullshit.
Yeah, so now they chasing him. Let me go to where they find him again. And then they when they find him again, they continue to promptly whoop this boy's ass.
2938. Where it rains and Ross. Taser was deployed.
He's yelling for his mom.
He was trying to run home.
Yeah, he just around the corner.
He was trying
from
to
his
run
house.
home.
All right.
You hear him hitting him?
So the video when it first starts, it just shows them snatching him out the car.
See how they just keep beating him? Yeah, they were snatching him. They just pulled up on him and snatched him out of the car. They didn't even say, hey, license registration, what you doing, bro? You know what I'm saying?
So they just, yeah, because I'd have been like, what the fuck is happening?
Spraying him again. How many cops it take to subdue a 200-pound man?
He's not 200 pounds. He 170 wet.
They beating him. They kicked him in his head.
Give me a hand. Turn around. Lay flat. Lay flat.
I think every last one of these cops should go to jail. But they didn't. 3 of them got acquitted. And then at the end of it all, they talked about how they promptly whooped his ass. And
that's wild.
These cops here are undercovers. They were on a task force called the Scorpion Crew or something like that.
Which sounds like a gang.
Right. They still beating on him.
Well, let me say this. We played, what was it, last week? The one where the guy
ran the cop over, yeah.
But let me say this. This is why.
Right. This is
why. This is why that dude did what he did.
Right.
This is why he was like, fuck all y'all.
There were no white cops, bro. This is Memphis.
Yeah, they was all black.
Yeah, this is Memphis. This ain't
Yep, this is a first.
Yeah.
Chris said the lesson here is don't be pulling no bullshit in Memphis. They not playing. But here's the problem though, Chris. On a regular traffic stop, you don't just snatch somebody out their car. That's not how that works. What this sounds like to me is, and I guarantee you something's going to come out later. One or two or three of them knew that guy. They knew Tyree personally. This looks like some personal shit because I just don't get that many cops chasing this man down, spraying him and beating him to death, literally, is what they did.
Let me read what's been reported. Tyree Nichols died from blunt force trauma which caused extensive internal bleeding, leading to organ failure. The key findings in this is in an independent autopsy commissioned by Nichols' family concluded that he suffered from extensive bleeding caused by severe beating. The official autopsy by the Shelby County medical examiner confirmed that the cause of death was blunt force injuries to the head. The manner of death was ruled a homicide by both people doing the autopsy.
It was ruled a homicide.
Right. He sustained multiple blows, including the head, face, back, and extremities.
Yeah, that's you. First of all, fuck what you talking about. As a cop, you don't beat the shit out of nobody.
Right. During the prolonged assault by several officers, the video footage corroborates this, showing Nichols being struck with the baton, kicked in the head while on the ground, and punched repeatedly while restrained.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem. So,
but 3 of them got acquitted. They still got to deal with the federal courts and the common courts.
They still got to deal with people who likes to run cops over and kill them with their cars.
True.
Too.
Yeah, they got to deal with that
too. Good luck with that.
Now, if there was something that he needed to go to jail for, fine. But they properly whooped this boy like he.
First of all, it's let's look at the facts. This man is not wanted for a murder. He's not wanted for rape. He's not aiding and abetting. He's not. None of the stuff is what is going on. Right. This is a fucking traffic stop.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah.
This is a traffic stop. At the minimum, what you do? Run a stop sign?
I don't know what he did.
But you understand what I'm saying? This is a traffic stop. When you have a traffic stop, you don't pull somebody out of the vehicle the moment you pull them over and start.
Yeah, so they didn't say, "Hey, license is registered." They just
didn't
stopped
say
the
this
cars.
Is why I pulled you over or nothing.
They all stopped in front of him and pull him out and start going to work on him.
Right. Chris says, "Hands on the steering wheel, yes sir, no sir. That's how I handle police. That's how a lot of black people handle them too, Chris. But they still died. That's irrelevant. And I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. The color of your skin has a lot to do with that. But this right here is ridiculous.
So here it is. This is from ChatGPT. It says, what happened? On the evening of January 7, 2023, Nichols was pulled over by members of the Memphis Department Scorpion Unit. They weren't even pulled over by street cops.
They weren't even pulled over by traffic.
Right, by traffic cops.
It wasn't even a traffic cop. This is a unit designed for something else.
He was pulled over allegedly for reckless driving. Officers forcibly removed him from his vehicle, deployed pepper spray and a taser, and Nicholas fled towards his nearby home. They caught up with him and brutally beat him, punching, kicking, and striking him with the baton. Medics arrived but delayed providing aid for 16 minutes. So they sat there for 16 minutes.
And did what?
Just looked at him, I guess. Nichols died in the hospital 3 days later for blunt force trauma to the head, and his death was ruled a homicide. Legal proceedings. Five officers, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Desmond Mills Jr., Emmett Martin III, and Justin Smith were fired and charged with second-degree murder over the offenses. Mills and Martin later pleaded guilty to both federal and state charges and agreed to cooperate with the prosecutors. Haley, Bean, and Smith were convicted of federal obstruction-related charges, but they were convicted of federal obstruction-related charges, but acquitted from all state charges, including the murder, on May 7th, 2025. That's why we're talking about it, because this happened a couple days ago.
How were they even acquitted, though?
During the federal trial, it was revealed that Haley had taken and shared a photo of a severely injured Nichols 11 times via text. So one of the cops took pictures of the ass whooping and then showed it to the homies 11 times via a text message. Broader impact: the Scorpion Union, unknown for they were also known for aggressive tactics and premeditated predominantly black neighborhoods, was disbanded shortly after Nichols' death. So they basically dissolved the Scorpion unit.
Well, yeah.
Everybody in the Scorpion unit pretty much got fired. And the U.S. Department of Justice investigation found that the Memphis Police Department routinely used excessive force and engaged in racial discrimination, and they're black guys.
Right.
So that's crazy. This black on black crime.
Black on black crime, yeah.
Despite these findings, Memphis Mayor Paul Young opposed entering a consent decree with the DOJ. So he didn't want to talk. He basically pleaded the fifth, asserting that the city could implement reforms independently. Wow.
Yeah, Chris says Scorpion, is that like LA crash units? I
Pretty
remember
much,
that.
yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. So here's the thing though, too, with these units that they create, they're designed to handle gang activity, drugs, and such and such. But what actually happens with these units, a lot of them, I won't say all of them, I'm just going to say a lot of them, is that the unit itself becomes a gang.
Right.
And now they're walking around, we the Scorpions, or we the crash unit, we're this, we're that. And they have this stigma to them where they're just like a bunch of fucking thugs.
Yeah, it's cold.
And, the thing about it is today, I'm like, these stories are just, they're disheartening. They really are disheartening. I'm so sick of just seeing like people being pulled out their cars by somebody who got a badge, who think they're above the law or they can do X, Y, and Z because they have a badge. And there's just not enough of consequences happening, which again, makes me go back to the guy who just randomly ran a cop over and killed him because his son was killed. That situation is a little bit different. We talked about it last week. If you didn't see the show, go back and look at it. But I understand it when you see stuff like this. I don't condone it, because killing an innocent person is murder, period, no matter how you look at it. But I understand the thought process behind it. It's that same thought process of when you're just tired, you're fed up, enough is enough, and you don't give a damn who goes down because you're just crashing out. And we got to stop getting to that point, but we got to stop the things that make us all get to that point. Like it really takes more than just black folks to stand on that, or white folks, or Hispanic, or Indian, or Haitian, or whatever you are. It really takes all of us to come together and say, dude, we're tired of seeing this. We don't support this. And there needs to be a severe punishment for this type of behavior, whether you're black, white, or indifferent. It doesn't matter. There needs to be a severe punishment. There's no way in hell you pull this man out of a car on a traffic stop. Again, I expound on the word traffic stop, because a traffic stop is just that. What you do, you ran a light, you didn't slow down, you didn't stop. Maybe your signal light isn't working. This isn't a felon that you're chasing in pursuit of, or a rapist, a criminal, as of now, from what we gather. This is just a simple traffic stop. So first of all, why is this unit even doing a traffic stop?
Right. If he was driving recklessly, why didn't they just say, hey,
why didn't they just dispatch for,
please step out of the car, please, such, this, that.
He was driving reckless,
right.
She was doing this, she was doing that.
Right.
Because even when you're driving reckless, yeah, they'll tell you to get out the car.
As soon as they pulled up on him, they just snatched him out the car. No questions asked. Just, here's Judge Joe Brown. This is the last video of the night, y'all. This is Judge Joe Brown speaking on this particular situation.
Oh, this is going to be good.
He was doing an interview with, I can't remember this lady's name. I think her name is called The Real Dana.
Okay.
If you guys want to check her video out.
Oh yeah, Chris, there's got to be more to this story. I agree with
you,
bro.
I'm sure there's a whole lot
I
more.
agree with you, bro. There's a lot, and it's going to come out. Like I'm telling you, they knew that.
Welcome back to Injustice for All, episode 17 with Judge.
Because it just didn't make sense.
Sorry about that, guys. I pressed the wrong button.
They knew this man personally, and they probably was like, "Oh, we gonna get you when we get the opportunity and whatever." And they found the opportunity, but the ones that's gonna serve time in prison, good luck.
Right.
Good luck, Chuck.
Right.
Because they're gonna have a whole fun time with your ass, especially knowing that you a cop and you killed a dude. Yeah, you in trouble. I agree, Sincere. That was a personal vendetta, bro. Because ain't no way. just off of me watching the video with no background information whatsoever. It was disturbing in its own of like, damn, dude, like what did this do? And he's laying there like, okay,
Welcome back to Injustice
Hey,
for
you're still
All,
talking.
episode 17 with Judge Joe Brown. And today's topic is Tyre Nichols and the not guilty verdict of the 3 police officers in Memphis, Tennessee. So where do you want to start? Do you want to give a quick summation from the beginning? Well, let me read this. 3 former Memphis officers were acquitted Wednesday of state charges, including second-degree murder and the fatal beating of Tyre Nichols after he ran away from a traffic stop, a death that sparked nationwide protests and prompted renewed calls for police reform in the U.S. The jury, which appeared to be all white, took about 8.5 hours over 2 days to find Darius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith not guilty on all charges after a 9-day trial in a state court in Memphis. After the jury's verdict was read, the defendants hugged their lawyers as relatives of the former officers cried. One relative yelled, "Thank you, Jesus." 3 defendants still faced the prospects of years in prison after they were convicted on federal charges last year, though they were acquitted of most serious charges then too. So Nichols was a 29-year-old black man who allegedly fled a traffic stop after he was yanked out of his car, pepper sprayed, and hit with a taser. 5 officers who are also black caught up with him and punched, kicked, and hit Nichols with a police baton, struggling to handcuff him as he called out for his mother just steps away from his homes. He died January 10th of 2023. 3 days after the beating, and the incident directed intense scrutiny of police in Memphis, a majority black city. So I wanted to get your thoughts on the verdict.
Well, for the last 2 years, I've been saying this trial was not going to be tried by a Memphis jury because of the loudmouth antics of Kamala Harris, Chicken George Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and let's see, the director of police, Chief Davis, who never should have been hired in Memphis in the first place, former Mayor Strickland and current Mayor Paul Young, and it was inevitable that that case was not going to have a Memphis jury because the pool here was horribly tainted. Now, I guess they got what they wanted.
He calling names.
It was engineered. I predicted it when they first started it. The interesting thing right now is we're going into this thing with the civil lawsuit that Ben Crump filed. Interestingly enough, the plaintiff in that case is a biological mother of Tyre Nichols. However, under Tennessee law, there's an interesting twist to it, which is since she put Nichols up for adoption, and he was adopted under Tennessee law, all her rights as a parent are extinguished, and technically, the way I read the law is she would have no more standing than anybody listening in on this podcast to file a lawsuit. However, she has, and the statute of limitations is run on the adopted parents out in California. That's interesting. So if anybody settles anything, it will be crooked and there's a con game going on, and somebody needs to look into it and prosecute. The district attorney, as I have said for the last 2 years, was a rookie, an amateur. He was a law professor, practiced no criminal law, and he undercharged them. He did not charge them with the right offense, which should have been murder in the perpetration of a felony, to wit, aggravated assault. There was an inadequate investigation. The prospect of prior encounters between the parties.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. I have a question for you. If you had to make a choice between
which was alleged by some entities, was not investigated, and it was a real live mess, is a real live mess, and the police department has a black female chief, the sheriff's department has a black sheriff, 75% of both forces are black. The majority of the criminal court judges are black and female. And let's see, 75% of the jury pool is black, which they could have had this stayed in Memphis. However, it was not because of their indefensible behavior at trying to grandstand the thing to drive up international attention and help out Kamala Harris's election, which is not what you're supposed to use the law for. So they got what was predicted by a number of criminal defense lawyers, self included. And although I've been retired from the practice for quite some time, what came out was inevitable. So let's see where it goes from here and whether the city attorney's office is going to file for dismissal for lack of standing on the lawsuit. There might be some saving grace for a minor who was the child of the deceased Tyree Nichols. But there's more to the story than seems to have been brought out by the press, but that would not have promoted the police brutality thing, which the woke crowd says is always white police jumping on somebody black, but in this case, everybody involved was black. So that fails. And basically what was going on is they had the so-called Blue Crush unit, which became the Scorpion Squad. And they had a series of resignations of the commanders of that squad because of the incompetence in the management of the loss of the Memphis Police Department. Essentially, those in charge didn't know what they were doing and couldn't keep command authority backed up on that particular unit. So they kind of got out of control. And I think the senior person in the unit is 30-some years old. And the age range goes all the way down. And the unit was created as the Blue Crush unit in response to citizen demands to do something about the ever escalating crime problem in Memphis, which right now is faced with the disgusting distinction of being the 10th most dangerous city to live in the entire world and the most dangerous American city to live in. I think the next most dangerous American city is somewhere down number 23 on that list. That just gives you some perspective, and things are out of control. The mayor can't go anywhere without 5 to 8 armed policemen in uniform escorting him because he's afraid to. The city council, which is majority black, is most known for its crookedness and under the table dealing.
So you guys kind of have a gist of what's actually going on out there in Memphis. I think Judge Joe Brown is from Memphis, and so he pretty much has an insight on what's going on down there.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, what I want to know is why does it take so long for them to like have these juries and stuff and prosecute? Because this happened in 2023.
This usually takes a couple years because they're popular. First of all, this one took as long as it did is because they moved it from Memphis to another city.
Right.
Which now you're not being tried by a jury of your peers. You see what I'm saying? Which should be against the law, period.
Right.
Yeah, but hey, you know how they do things. But
yeah, Chris, you're right. It is a war zone, bro.
Yeah. Any questions for us, y'all?
Questions? Questions on this beautiful hump day? Yeah, it was just like it was exactly like the Rodney King situation. And that's the first thing I thought about when I saw it. I'm like, damn, this looks like the Rodney King thing all over again.
Yeah, difference between that and Rodney King is Rodney King's still alive. Well, he was. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he killed himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, they moved it to another city. So normally you're judged by a jury of your peers. So moving it to another city, he couldn't be judged by a jury of his peers. They couldn't be judged by a jury of their peers because they're not their peers anymore. So that's why they were saying on the video previously,
the family
they were talking about
because of that.
Right. They were talking about that it was all white all white jury, which is virtually impossible in a 75% predominantly black neighborhood or city or whatever. So I understood that part. And the jury, I wouldn't say they should have all been black, but
They should have
they
been.
should have all been black
They should have been from that city.
under the circumstances because of the numbers.
Right.
If it's 75% black, 9 times out of 10, your jury is going to be 75% black. So, just based on the numbers game, just based on the math ain't math. And so it's like they deliberately pulled it out to another city to get these officers off, some of them, which, I think, was it a couple of them that was fired and a few of them resigned, and
there's a lot going on.
so some resigned, some were fired, some were charged, some were not, type thing. But it's like, I agree with Sean, like everybody involved in that should have been held accountable, because, and this is what I say all the time, Chris, I keep the whites out of it completely. Hey, in this case, Chris, I fuck with you on that. Like, yeah, y'all, we ain't in this. But
I don't think those cops got what they deserved.
No, they will though. They will though.
Hopefully
they will. In Memphis, they will.
Yeah, hopefully someone will appeal it or whatever. I don't know how that's gonna go, but we'll see what happens.
All I can say is that, man, we be safe out there in these streets, man, and just protect yourself at all costs. Protect your family, your loved ones, protect you. Do whatever it takes to protect yourself against anything or anybody that is trying to cause you physical harm. I mean, that's really all I can say in this situation, because it's like, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Yeah, Chris, I agree. It's a war zone, and there's definitely more to this story, because it just does not sound right. I mean, I've seen some really, pretty fucked up shit, but I've never seen where you just snatch a guy out the car and just start dogging him.
Right.
Without any type of, like, I haven't seen that. Usually there's some questioning involved. Hey, why we stopped you? We trying to identify you, even like you haven't even identified the man. Or maybe you did, and that's why you snatched him out the car the way you did. It's everywhere, bro. It's a war zone. Listen, it's a war zone in your home. In your own home, it's a war zone. So I mean, I ain't even gonna hit it with the, let's all pray thing, because I mean, we pray. We've been praying for years. It's like something's got to give.
So let me take some time to say the likes, acknowledge the likes. We got Darian Jackson.
Shout out Darian.
Ruben.
All right, Ruben.
Wendell West.
Mr. West.
Chris Thiesgen.
Chris.
Sincere. Phil Azuna, Tony Peavy, Alan Smith, and Joel Morris. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Have a good evening. I'll see y'all next week, 8 p.m.
Wednesday, hump day. I
day.
am Treasure Cheltenham. I am one of the hams.
I'm Sean Cheltenham. I'm one of the hams. This is the Cheltenham Show.
Ham Show.
Y'all hit us up next week, 8 p.m.
We'll see y'all then. Have
Peace
a good
out.
weekend, y'all.
Thank you.